Hey everybody, I just came in here to feed my wife's tank and I thought I'd shoot a little video while I was in here. If you follow along regularly, you'll know I've added a few fish to this tank recently, and I'm still just kind of keeping an eye on the tank, making sure everybody's okay. It's certainly been long enough now that any common maladies like ick would have shown up, and I've got nothing like that going on. I've got no cottonmouth disease, I've got no fin rot. So I think everything's fine. Everybody's eating normally. Everybody's putting on weight. The little angelfish there is growing just fine. This is one of those tanks that does not get fed a ton. So hopefully the angelfish will grow at a very subdued rate. That's one way you can sort of minimize the overall size of the fish. They're still going to grow about to the same overall size genetically as they're sort of predisposed to. But if you feed them a lot when they're young and they're growing rapidly, you can really get a big animal out of it, and you can really plump them up and get them big fast. So by feeding this tank very conservatively, little pinch, each day. I'm not exactly sure how much my wife feeds this tank, but she's the one that normally feeds it. But I decided I'd pop in this evening and give it a little feed. But I don't think it gets fed a whole lot, and therefore the angelfish in here is not going to grow really rapidly, and hopefully it will be one with a smaller body but more in the way of finnage. It's a veil, it's a mixed veil, so they tend to have sort of long flowing fins, and in my experience the angelfish with the longer fins tend to have smaller bodies, and the ones with the shorter, more stout fins tend to have more mass to their bodies. So with this one being very long and the mixed veil, it should have a fairly small body overall, even when it's full grown. So it's really coming in nicely. It's going to be really dark overall. I know it is technically marbled, but there's not a lot of other coloration in there. It's just a lot of black, and it's got some silver and some sort of golden brown colors in there. It's going to be a really pretty fish as it gets older. I'm really looking forward to watching this one grow up. Unfortunately, as I said, I don't get in this room to really watch these fish very often, so it's nice from time to time to be able to get in here at least to shoot a little bit of video. I am a little concerned about this female swordtail. It's interesting watching that male court her. I've never seen them dart backwards like that and use that sword to display. That's pretty interesting. But I think this female might be constipated. She's always thick around her belly. She's always got a really dark mass right below what I assume her stomach would be, and then of course she's almost always got a little bit of poop coming out of her. It's like it's never not there. So I think she might be a little constipated, but I'm not sure why. She's got lots and lots of vegetation and algae to eat, so it's not like she's not getting enough roughage in her diet. But I am considering if she starts looking unhealthy, because right now, as I said, she just sort of looks plump. You can kind of see that dark spot in there. She's behaving normally and everything else. I'm not sure whether I should be worried about it or not, but it is something I've noticed. So I'm keeping my eye on it. Spirulina might help. I've actually got some downstairs, I believe. I might actually start feeding this tank some spirulina. That can help with constipated fish. And then of course the shelled boiled peas is always a good way to help constipated fish. So maybe I'll try that as well. It's really fascinating watching this courting behavior. I've had the swordtails before. I've had the males and the females together, and I've never seen the male behave this way. I've seen them chase them around, but they've always just sort of behaved like live bears, as far, just sort of like these guppies. The males just sort of chase the females around. Never seen this sort of courting display where the male sort of darts back and forth and sort of uses that sword as a display like that. That's really interesting. So I'm glad I popped in here to shoot this video and I got to see that. I'm glad you got to see it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. That was only meant to be a little bit of a video. Maybe I will go in and do a little bit of an update on my office tank. My fish room downstairs is still a big mess, so I'm not even going to bother going down there to shoot any video or anything tonight. In fact, all I'm going to do down there tonight is keep an eye on my waterfall to make sure it stays waterproof. So far so good. It's been running for a few hours today and I don't have any leaks so far. as I didn't yesterday, and I don't anticipate it, but, you know, for a little while I'm going to be a little nervous about that until I'm 100% sure I'm not going to spring a leak at some point. So other than that, I'm just going to get everybody fed downstairs tonight, and that's going to be that. I'm not messing around with any of the tanks or really doing anything. So thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That way you won't miss any of the things I just talked about or anything else I've got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. It's an interesting little display from the angelfish there, sort of lying on its side and displaying its fins and then dashing around like that. Not really sure what's going on there, who he's displaying for, but that was interesting nonetheless. So as I said, make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything I got coming up on this tank or my basement tanks or anything else. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget I call this one my wife's tank. And I'll see you real soon in the next one.